Welcome back. But before we get to chapter 4, I need to make a little bit of more clarifications from the last 3 chapters. Okay, first, I got the book from Ollie's. It's like a discount store here in the state of North Carolina where you can get a lot of stuff for a cheap price. And they sell books at discounted prices. And instead of it being a daughter, it's the mother. So at the end of chapter 3, I had thought it was the daughter, but it's the mother with the memory issues. Okay, now chapter 4, Ruth. It turns out there's yet another way to disappear. Your mind can begin to erase itself. Catherine is driving us home, one hand gripping the steering wheel, the other tucked in mine. I know the look on her face, the set of her jaw. She's holding back tears. I'm sorry, baby. I don't say the words because they will send her over the edge, and I'm just barely keeping it together myself. So I reach for the radio with my free hand. Thunder Road, the best version, the haunting, acoustic one from Brisbane, comes on and I exhale, feeling some of the rigidity leave my body. What kind of monster doesn't like Springsteen? I ask. Catherine doesn't immediately recite her usual comeback, and I hold my breath. Then, a monster with taste. I leave it there, not replying with my usual, I should have given you up for adoption. A thin line can separate laughter and tears, and I don't want to push her in the wrong direction. Catherine turns onto the highway, heading toward home, and I give her hand a squeeze, then let go. She needs both on the steering wheel. Catherine drives too fast. What's more, she expects everyone on the road to be as quick and decisive as she is, and she isn't grateful for my helpful tips, even though I've been driving a lot longer. I'm not one of those mothers who deludes myself her kid is an angel, or who flutters around gushing that I don't know what I did to deserve a daughter like Catherine. Of course I deserve her. I've devoted my life to raising her well. Catherine is a competent cook, probably out of necessity, and she's smarter than me, except for her taste in music. She's a hard worker. She got that from me. She's not a shouter. She didn't get that from me. My daughter is tall and fine-boned and graceful, with delicate features that belly her grit and determination. It's like someone waved a magic wand when she was born, gifted her with her grandmother's thick, wheat-colored hair with a slight widow's peak, her grandfather's golden skin, and her father's blue eyes. Sometimes when I look at my girl, I'm awed that I created something so beautiful. And sometimes I wonder how different my life would be if I had it. I lower my window a few inches, closing my eyes as fresh, cool air sweeps across my face. I expect the whole drive home to be silent because Catherine always gets quiet when she hears bad news. It's her pattern. When I tell her something she doesn't like, she slips away, hiding inside herself. You can be right there in the same car, close enough to smell the sweet traces of the shampoo she used this morning, and have absolutely no idea what's going on in her mind. The worse the news, the longer her silence. I've asked her to tell me more than once. You've got plenty of words. Can you use some of them? I'm just thinking, Mom. Funny how you can't get your kid to be quiet sometimes, but when you actually want to hear what's going on, they act like you've barged in on them while they're in the bathroom. The quiet between us isn't so bad right now, though. It's actually a relief. This appointment was every bit as horrible as I expected. I don't think I'll ever get over watching Catherine's eyes shatter. But now that it's behind us, I know exactly what I want and don't want. I'm not going to get a CT scan or a lumbar puncture, or any of the other tests Dr. Chen and Catherine talked about. I'm not going to see another expert. I'm going to keep waitressing at the diner and living in our apartment. And maybe this seems selfish or narcissistic or whatever term is in fashion these days. But what I want more than anything is for Catherine to put off her dreams of moving to Baltimore and moving at Hopkins. I need my daughter to stay close to me. Do this sound like Munchausen? Chapter 5, Catherine. I see my mother every single day, which is to say I don't truly see her at all. She has always been a touch distracted, but I miss the demarcation line across. Let me start that sentence again. She has always been a touch distracted, but I miss the demarcation line she crossed when she slipped past ordinary forgetfulness into something infinitely darker. I don't know if I'll ever forgive myself, even though it's like she has cancer. Early detection won't make a difference in how this turns out. The thought is a live wire. I yank my mind away, forcing myself to focus on easing our Bonneville into a tight corner spot in our apartment building's lot. After we exit our car and push through the heavy side door into the lobby, we discover the elevator is waiting, its arms thrown open to us. It's a minor miracle. With 5 floors in our building and eight apartments per floor, I usually don't even bother pressing the call button. As we glide up to the 4th floor, I study my mom, taking her in anew, trying to see how I could have missed the clues, especially since my job constantly exposes me to tangible evidence of what she will become. She isn't wearing mismatched shoes or blinking in bewilderment or exhibiting irrational anger like some of the residents I care for. If anything, she's too calm. That could be shock. I catalog the furrow between her brows, her full lips, and the slight sheen to her skin. You okay? Her question jolts me. I realized the elevator doors had yawned open. Sorry. I stepped onto the diamond-patterned carpet and led the way down the narrow hall to 406. When I was a kid, I loved fitting the long nose of a key into a lock. The thrill passed, but our habit stuck. Mom still lets me handle the task. I wiggle in the metal key and hear the tumblers click, thinking about how she's the only person in the world who knows that bit of my history. She is the co-architect of our existence. I do most of the grocery shopping. She keeps our car filled with gas, and we split the cleaning. She sat beside me on the couch, watching the Office reruns and making sure I ate when my first real love, Ethan, and I broke up last year. Once we slept in our Bonneville for 3 nights, her in the front seat and me in the back, when a leak from the shower a floor above soaked our apartments, and our jerk of a landlord refused to pay for a hotel. Our favorite dinner is something she invented called lasagna pizza, which we make with dough instead of noodles. How long until I'm the sole memory keeper of our life together? A sob rises in my throat. It takes everything I have to fight it back. I set my purse on a narrow hall table as my mother takes off her black flats and put them on the mat next to her work sneakers. I'm going to change. Mom disappears into her bedroom. I stand there, staring at the empty space she left behind. Our entire drive home from Dr. Chen's office, it's a sinkhole in my mind. I can't say how many red lights we encountered, or whether any raindrops splattered on the windshield, or if we hit traffic. How many sinkholes are already swallowing pieces of my mother's brain? Because I can't think of what to do, I move into our living room and begin to straighten up, refolding the blanket on the back of the couch and collecting my water bottle from the coffee table. Sometimes our apartment feels cozy. We aren't permitted to paint the walls or use nails to hang pictures, but my mother brought command strips to affix bright prints, one by Matisse and others created by me in my high school art class. We cultivate a trio of leafy green plants on the windowsill, and Mom brought in colorful throw pillows from a secondhand store and a big mirror with a whitewash frame when she was on an HGTV kick. Other times, this space feels claustrophobic. More and more lately, I felt the walls closing in on me. It's unnaturally quiet in here at 10:20 a.m. on Tuesday. Most of our neighbors are at work or school, like my mother and I would typically be at this hour on an ordinary day. I edge closer to her bedroom, listening hard. I can't hear anything. If she's crying, her face must be buried in a pillow. I lift my hand to knock, then let my arm drop by my side. I can't tell her it will be okay. There is no fixing this. Her door flies open. I take a step back, startled. My mother stands there in her uniform, her hair swept back in a headband. Where are you going? To the bus stop. I still have half a shift left. Mom moves past me toward the front door. Wait! She turns around, avoiding my eyes. Where did I put my purse? A week ago, her words would have been innocuous. Now they sear me. How can you just go to work? We've got to talk. We need to make a plan. Honey, there's plenty of time for talking. No, there isn't. We don't have time. I gasp out the words. My mother closed her eyes briefly. Look, Catherine, I know this is hard, but you need to understand. I have to keep moving. I can't stop and think, or I'm going to lose it, okay? She walks back into her bedroom and retrieves her purse. I follow, unable to stop the questions spilling from my mouth. Why didn't you tell me about your mother? Because she didn't care about us, and I stopped caring about her a long time ago. My mom moves to the front door. She leans over to slip on her right sneaker, pressing her palm against the wall for balance. You couldn't even bring up the fact that she died? Catherine, don't push me. I can't put on the brakes. You've been hiding everything from me. You told Dr. Chen you've been noticing this for 4 months. Why didn't you say anything? We could have. My voice trails off. My mom puts on her other shoe. Exactly. What could we have done? There are medicines. She shakes her head. They don't work for everyone. Their effects wear off and they don't stop the progression of the disease, only some of the symptoms. There is no cure. She's reciting things I've told her through the years, facts I've gleaned from my textbooks and college lectures and evidence I've witnessed firsthand. She gives me a quick, hard hug, then she leaves. I have no idea what to do. I expected our routine to shatter. I was planning to tell my supervisor I had a family emergency and needed a few days off. How can my mother be going about her typical day? My breaths are too quick and shallow, and I know my blood pressure has risen to a number that would alarm me if I was monitoring a patient. I look around the apartment. It's still a tomb. A vision of the future invades my imagination. Post-it notes stuck everywhere to remind my mother to make sure the stove is turned off and to flush the toilet. A deadbolt on the door with the lock constantly engaged. My mother splayed on the couch, her hair lank and dirty, refusing to shower. Or worse. It could get so much worse. It will get so much worse. The walls of the apartment fly towards me. I run to the front door and grab my purse. I burst into the hallway and head for the stairs, skimming my hand along the metal railing as I spin down 4 flights and push through the lobby door. Bright sunlight hits my eyes and I squint, searching my surroundings until I spot my mother halfway down the block. Wait! I yell, running toward her. My mother turns. As I draw closer, I think I see tears shimmering in her eyes, and it pulls me up short. My mother never cries. I can't leave her here at the bus stop all alone. I want to be with her as much as I can, for as long as I can. Even if it's just the two of us riding in our old Bonneville with the radio blaring like we've done thousands of times before. I know she doesn't want any more questions, so I promise myself this will be the last one I'll ask her right now. Want to ride to work? Okay. So, do we believe the mom is having memory issues? Right now, I'm going to say I believe it because of what she said in her age. Because she's 40, she's in her early 40s, right? And she said she was told her mom passed away of early Alzheimer's at 50. So I'm going to say yes. But I think the daughter going to keep asking questions. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 4 and 5. I shall see you in chapter 6. Bye.